Hey guys, SickMotion here with the patch 7.3 notes. A bunch of nerfs here. Oh, and my mic volume, something weird was happening with my mic lately on stream, so I did some sound driver stuff. So the mic volume might not line up with what you're used to, and hopefully the quality's fine on it. But yeah, if there's any change there while I'm thinking about it, I'll just let you guys know about that. Starting the nerf train, Camille. Three pretty big nerfs here. Her Q second empowered cast bonus damage is from 100% to 80. That means the true damage hit's also going to be from 100% of that bonus damage if you wait that time to 80%. So in heavy AD builds, that's going to be a lot less true damage on that second hit. Her W lost 10% of the slow. It went from 90 to 80, which is still like ridiculously high, but it decays to 0 over the duration rather than you're just slowed by 90% for the entire duration. So it actually feels a lot less brutal to be hit by. And in my opinion, this is kind of the biggest one here. The mana cost on her E was raised by 20. So if you're spamming it a lot, you're going to be going out of mana a lot more. I noticed that when I played Camille the day that I was ooming a little bit more. The big thing that I noticed, however, was you don't get the bonus attack speed on it unless you actually hit the target. So there's a couple situations, like you're obviously trying to hit the target in most situations, but there's some that you like maybe you miss the target, they sidestep it, and then you end up in a fight. You're not going to have that bonus attack speed for 5 seconds. It's a really long duration. You have it for 5 seconds. You're not going to have it. And the other one is when you E at a target, they just get out of range, but then you ult them right at the end of your E. You've ulted them, you've trapped them, you dashed at them, and now you're fighting them, but you don't have that bonus. I think it's like what 70% extra attack speed for 5 seconds, just steroid, while you're hitting them in your ult with the increased damage in your ult, as just well as any damage because the attack speed helps with just like your physical and your AD ratios and whatnot. So I think that's like a really big nerf there to there, but it's all around nerfs for. And the Hextech's ultimatum no longer persists for its full remaining duration after Camille dies, dissipates after 1 second. It was always funny when you die in a fight and you die like locking down an important target that either is going to run into your team or you want him to be trapped. You die instantly, and then they're still stuck in your ult, and your team's just able to clean them up. So that one probably the least of all of them, but she got hit quite a few times there. Ivern, Daisy no longer regenerates 3% of the max health per second while out of combat. Armor and magic resistance are also down by 30 at level 16, level 3 of his ult. They're down by 30 from 120 to 90. Daisy will no longer start attacking the ground and teleport out of control. I've seen that happen before. It's really hard to tell what's going on because even though she's teleporting and looks like she's bugging out, she's still actually doing things in the fight, but you have no way to react to it because it looks like a horror movie. And Daisy will no longer become invisible in rare circumstances. So just some bug fixes there, but the regeneration loss and the armor and magic resistance will make it a lot easier to focus down the annoying thing. It's a pet, and it's not like a champion kill when you get it. You're not taking him out of the fight. He can still do other stuff, but it's really annoying. So if you're able to just pick it up for free and like kill it, because it's out of position or you just are able to burst it down with your team. It'll be easier to do so. If you do damage to it, it'll be more meaningful, and maybe you'll be able to kill it a little bit later. But a large part of his control and annoyance is using the Daisy in combination with like the vision issues with the bushes that he spawns. Jace, another target of multiple nerfs here. The damage on his Q in melee form, in hammer form, got hit at every level. It's 5 less damage at level 1. It's 30 less damage base at level 5. So it's a base damage nerf. It's not like a ratio nerf. You'll feel it, but not that much. Especially if you're doing well and you have a lot of items. You're still going to be doing a ton of damage and scaling really well. It's just the base. The Thundering Blow mana cost was increased by 15, so instead of 40, it's 55. That one you'll notice a bit more. You'll be going especially without. You'll have to be more. You'll have to manage your mana better without building the tier and sacrificing the tier so that you don't really have to manage your mana for the early game power of just being able to build other items. You'll actually have to think about it now, which I think that's a smart change there. The mana costs are too easy to manage, which is why he's able to build so much damage and snowball so hard from early. And here's a ratio nerf. It's 0.4 attack damage to 0.25 attack damage. That's a bonus attack damage ratio. So that'll be doing a little bit less damage even if you're doing really well. But he got hit in three places, so he's limping. He's still really strong though, so I think he'll still be a strong pick. Kha'Zix, zero point 0.2 bonus attack damage ratio off on Q, and Evolve's Claw's cooldown refund is down from 60% to 45% on isolated targets. So his jungle control and stuff, like you think isolated targets, it's champions as well, but like Dragon, Rift Herald, Baron, and whatnot, those are all isolated usually. So his power of soloing those or doing them really quickly with his team will be a little bit less, which he's felt really oppressive lately. It's mainly the fact that he has all this like super burst damage, sustained burst damage, and is really hard to focus down because of the stealth change. The true stealth really helped him. LeBlanc nerfs just the base damage on her passive has been nerfed levels 1 to 6, 7 to 13, and then it's the same from 14 to 18. But at level 6, for example, her passive is going to be doing 35 less base damage, which is actually quite large. At level 7, it's 40. Dang. 55 here. The passive base damage is way too high. So now she'll be more reliant on actually getting items and scaling properly rather than just having base damage to kill people for free and get her items. She's still annoying though. Like I'd still ban LeBlanc when there's no other better bans. Malzahar nerfs as well, like we saw this coming. He's in every single game as a support. There's a Voidling spawn time. It matches the cast animation now. They don't come out instantly. There's a cooldown in between casts, so you can't just spawn 2 Voidlings instantly. You have to spawn it, take 0.35 to spawn, then wait a second to spawn another one that'll take 0.35 to spawn. So it's you actually have to set up for your ult. You don't just WW and then ult. And they're dead as a support. Past 600 distance, Voidlings move 10% more slowly for every 10 or 100 additional damage there, or additional distance. I'm tired here. Further away from Malzahar, so they don't run you down as hard if you're actually able to initially get out of the range of Malzahar. Even if you might have like the slow on from the Malefic Visions if he has a Rylai's, the Voidlings will also be slower, so that you don't feel like you're just screwed if he hits you with a spell while the Voidling's out. Really big nerf to Rengar here, which, I mean, it took long enough, honestly. The dash distance on his Q is down by 50. That'll be quite noticeable, but the main feature of this nerf is right here, where his W, empowered cast, no longer gives crowd control immunity for a full second and a half as a champion who's running through your whole team anyway. It should still stop crowd control. I think it still breaks you free. I haven't like looked into it any more than just this, but the fact that he would jump in and then break CC and then be immune to being CC'd, you couldn't peel him, like that was pretty stupid for a character that just jumped into your team invisible and just bursting down someone and has all of those other things. And the camouflage duration on his ult is down 2 seconds, down 6 seconds, and then down 10 seconds at max level. I mean, at max level, you just turn it on and you're like, all right, I'll just sit in my ult, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, whatever, because their whole team has had to reposition themselves thinking that I might be going for them. I've seen so many Barons get secured just because Rengar ults and the entire enemy team's just like, oh my god, run into our base. Wait, they just saw us run into our base because of the Rengar ult, and they're probably on Baron. Shit. Tristana rapid fire duration is from 5 seconds to 7, so you'll have more opportunity to make use of it. Tristana lately, someone asked me in chat today, like, if I thought this would make Tristana viable again. I don't think she was like ever really unviable. Like if she gets items, she's gonna do well. She's a very safe AD carry, very mobile AD carry. But there's just other picks that are stronger right now and like clearly outshine her. So rather than nerfing those other picks, taking ones that are kind of a little bit kind of in the shadows of the strengths of the other AD carries, bringing the other ones up to that level, I think, is a good choice. Also, everyone's complaining about how weak 80 carries are, so I don't think nerfing the strong ones that are actually kind of getting out of the gates is the right strategy. Actually getting most 80 carries to a point where they can actually like play the game and feel meaningful as a pick is is good. Vi's movement speed down by 5. Base attack speed is down as well, so the auto attack animation canceling to get her third proc of her W to actually get the bonus attack speed from proccing that will be a little less smooth. You might actually be able to walk out of range before she is able to get it rather than her just hitting you with a Q, autoing, and then getting the reset and just feeling super oppressive. Also, her base movement speed is down by 5. Honestly, movement speed to me seems kind of like a general guideline slash suggestion, and it doesn't really matter. I've caught up to people that are 20 movement speed faster than me. I've been ran down by someone 30 movement speed slower than me. It doesn't seem like overly of an impactful measurement, but that's just me. I mean, it probably isn't like that at all. That's just my conspiracy theory. Vladimir here, he got some quality of life. This is like the first, other than Tristana, the first like buff. His base attack damage is up by 3, and the missile speed is up by 200, which will make it a lot easier to CS on him because you have higher base damage, obviously, but the missile speed's far more usable. You don't have to kind of go into range, then just watch it float for a couple seconds. If you're an avid Vlad player, you probably have to get used to this change, but once you do, it'll definitely feel better. People less experienced on the character should have a better time all around on the character. A lot of people take AD runes or attack speed runes on range mages. Like I had someone asking me about taking attack speed and AD on Swain to help him with farming early, and that's just a massive handicap to put on yourself, and then it actually really hurts your damage later on if you don't have like magic pen and stuff, because there's not very many sources to get magic pen out of items, so just not having the magic pen reds because you're not confident enough to farm with just the base attack damage and base animation on range champions. It's a really obvious like sore thumb sticking out of something you could improve on, but don't use the runes as a crutch. But this is basically giving you that extra AD, but it's not taking the runes, so it'll just feel good all around. Also, his Q, the ratio on it is up by 0.5. The damage on it is also up, the base, and the bonus damage on Crimson Rush is down. So you're a little less reliant on those windows, and you're going to do more damage without those windows. So kind of just all around easier to play Vlad. Zyra, also a champion that is seen all the time as support. Zyra, Mal's already been dealt with earlier. Her Q mana cost is up by 10, and removed a rule that told Thorn Spitters and Vine Lashers to always target nearby enemy champions on spawn instead of the closest enemy unit, even if the enemy spawned them didn't hit a champion, or even if the ability spawn didn't hit a champion. It was super annoying. Like if you saw Zyra seed down and she started casting a spell, you knew that that thing was going to shoot at you, and like you had to like flash away if you were low health. Even if she spawned them in a minion wave, that was part of the reason she felt so oppressive. They did a similar change to that earlier, I think. I can't remember exactly what it was, but similar context. Practice tool will be, I tried it on the PBE for like 5 minutes. It was actually really cool. You can reset your cooldowns. You can give yourself gold to buy like unlimited stuff. You can make turrets immune. You can make your I don't know if you can make yourself immune, but you can stop minions from spawning. You can set your level, your skills. There's so many things you can do with it. You can set up practice like target dummies that have like 10,000 health that actually tell you how much DPS you're doing and how much your hits are hitting for, rather than just having to look for the splash and see the damage before it disappears. Overall, I think it'll be a very, very cool place to try things like practicing like Azir walls, Azir shuffles and stuff like that, and finding out different interactions. Like I used the example when I was talking about it on stream today, Alawi ult flashing. It's known that that works, but you might want to try it a few times yourself to get a feel for what it's going to feel like when you do it in a game. And then when you're in a game and you're able to do it, you might not want to do it because you don't want to throw the past half an hour of the game on fucking that interaction up because you're trying it for the first time, even though you know how it should work. you can build the confidence just going in and doing it in the practice tool, which you could have done in a custom game already if you wanted to go in and kill minions by yourself until you were level 6, then use your ult and flash, and then if you wanted to do it another time, wait for your flash and your ult cooldown to come back up. You can just keep resetting the cooldowns, and you can get a lot more meaningful things done in a shorter period of time while you're more focused. I think the practice tool will really help players who not everyone obviously, like you're gonna have to focus and practice the right things, but players that are actually focused on improving and actually have a plan ahead of them for what they want to do. I think it'll be an amazing tool for that if it works even half as well as it looked like it will. Skin names and scoreboard. Hovering a player's name in the scoreboard shows the name of their skin. Cool, I guess. League client update. I haven't really been keeping up with the league client update. I haven't been mentioning it in the patch reviews here, so I'm not really going to mention anything about it. So I'll just scroll right on through there. Some bug fixes and whatnot. Like I said, I haven't been using the client. I've just been waiting until it's like fully polished and hopefully most ready to use. I've been using the old broken client. I mean, they're both kind of broken, but it is what it is. One of the most annoying things, I haven't been keeping up with it, so maybe it's been fixed already, is the fact that you can't close your friends list, and it looks just kind of always open, and it's kind of in the way and annoying for me, especially from the perspective of being a streamer. I don't really want my friends list to just be open all the time. Not that like anything bad comes out of it, but it's just kind of like a tidiness thing, I guess. Q health, whatever. Rotating game modes. There's an assassin mode basically where it's kind of like team deathmatch and you just kill each other over and over. You can only buy damage items on assassin champions that they deem to be assassins. So for instance, they deem Pantheon and Yasuo to be assassins, but Master Yi and Nocturne are fighters. They're not allowed to be assassins. Feels bad for them. Also, Kennen is an assassin in this mode apparently, at least on the PBE. Those were some of the champions that were there. They make it so you can't really buy defensive items other than like if it's a Zonya's or like an Abyssal, things that are like might be defensive but they're mainly focused as an offensive buy, which I think is cool that you don't just go in and get like Sunfire Akali's and whatnot, but at the same time they're limiting your champion pool to only being able to play assassin champions. I think if they just limited the items that you could buy, what if I wanted to play like assassin Jarvan or something in that game mode, or what if I wanted to play like full lethality Scion? It's the fact that you can't do that because they've deemed that those champions aren't able to be played in that mode is kind of lame, I think. My theory of the whole game mode is that they force you onto these assassin champions, especially with like the whole lethality craze, kind of lethality being not as bad now and people buying it and figuring out it works. Basically, it gives them a lot of stuff to test on these champions and like figure out how the interactions are and like figure out how the assassins, like their damage overall, and it'll also allow a lot of people that might have not been playing these champions before to get a lot of you're not playing like an assassin champion to go into lane, farm forever, and then have like one fight and then the game's over, like a competitive Snorefest. You're playing an assassin champion to go in and make flashy plays, and when you're new to the champion, your plays aren't that flashy. They're really bad, and it could be discouraging for newer players. Even if you're playing in a normal game or whatnot, similar to the practice tool thing, you're waiting for that moment because you don't want to fuck it up and then be behind and not have fun for the rest of the game. This gives you a lot more opportunities to see and have that moment. The games are very fast paced. They're very fast. Your spawn timers are short. There's huge gold regeneration. You get like, it's kind of like ARAM on steroids. You get levels really easily. There's no farming. You get gold really easily. So it's more just about fighting on your champion, fighting on other like flashy assassin champions. Overall, there's a lot of stuff that you might not be able to take away from it, but it does open the door and give the opportunity to play against actual other players on champions that you might not be overly familiar with, and be able to be playing in an atmosphere that even if like something goes terribly wrong, you're right back in the action right away and you can try it again, and maybe get more comfortable on some champions that you might not have necessarily been seeing yourself playing. That's just kind of my like opinion and like kind of the value that I see out of that game mode, the value I see out of the practice mode before that. Kind of like I don't know if it's really like a rant is the right word, but kind of a long explanation of it. Like I said, it's more opinion based than like that's not really factual, all of that stuff, but I trying to just get the idea out there, you know. And then there's obviously skins with the Blood Moon event, Diana, Talon, Twisted Fate, and Jin. Jin one I think it'll be really cool. The Talon one, playing the Blood Moon mode, you see all the assassins played every single game. Seeing a Blood Moon Talon and a Blood Moon Zed side by side, if you just saw like the character, obviously if you don't see like their weapons, the skin splashes are interchangeable in my opinion. They look very similar. But yeah, that's the patch. Hopefully the practice mode will be out and usable soon. I'll probably I'm not gonna like do like a whole stream dedicated to it. That'd obviously be pretty resident sleeper, but I might pull it up on the stream for like 10 minutes and like kind of go through the potential of it with people that might be interested, because I do think it's a really cool tool. I think it's a really nice step in the right direction, like with the comparison before, that like if you want to get better at a specific skill in like any type of other sport, and they're trying really hard to make League like your like a staple sport, like a household name type thing. If I want to get better at shooting threes in basketball, I go to the rec center and I shoot threes for hours. I don't go and sign up for a league and then shoot either way too many threes in a game and end up losing the game, and fundamentally having an atmosphere that's probably not that good to practice in while pissing off my teammates, or go play games and not shoot that many threes, only shooting them when they're worthwhile, and miss most of them because I don't have very much practice with them. I'm going to go and target exactly what I want to target to get the most out of the time I spend practicing. So the practice tool kind of is the answer to just kind of working on your own at things that you want to improve on. I think it'll be great. I think it'll hopefully, if used properly, really increase the competitive edge that players can have, and also allow players that are really focused on improving to improve a lot faster. But with all of that, and mainly opinion-based video, thank you for watching. If you found it helpful, or would like to see more content like this, make sure to like this, sub to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to be working on getting more full game replays out. Not probably as many as I'd like to be releasing, or as consistently, because it is like a lot of extra time in addition to everything else I'm doing. But I definitely want to be releasing a lot more than none, like I have been for the past little bit. I put one recently on there that was more of a test, just to test that I got my video settings right and it worked. So I've been kind of remembering to flag games that I could possibly save to put on YouTube, and I won't explain the whole process here. I did it on stream a little earlier, but I won't explain the whole process of getting a game from my stream video to actually being on YouTube and working to be ready to be released. But there's more than you would think for literally just ripping a video, clipping, cropping, and then putting it onto YouTube. But hopefully there will be more content like that in the future here as well. And any comments that you put on these videos, I don't necessarily respond to all the comments. I rarely respond to the YouTube comments, honestly, but I do read them. So if there's something, obviously I kind of just like pass over like the trolley or like worthless comments. Sorry if your comment might have been considered worthless, but I mean it's pretty obvious if when you're posting it, if it's intended to be well received or not. The more like the well-received comments and the thought-out ones, I often kind of take them into account, and if it's like suggestions and whatnot, or what people want to see, or just kind of like anything, I do read them, basically. Kind of rambling on a little bit more here because I'm pretty sleepy, probably explaining stuff more than I have to, so I'll leave it at that. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.